early game champions for TN, something like the Hecarim, Udyr, the Volibear, and make sure that he has early game potential to get that engine rolling. But if he's not able to do so, FPX start to fall apart, but it also commits FPX to this very short-range composition. And with a team like RNG, where Xiaohu likes to play things like the Jaces, the Lucians in the top lane, and you can go for Wei taking something like the Lilia, that long range could really cause issues for FPX in this draft.
Well, speaking of flexes, RNG reflecting on the fact that they can be flexed to Nuguri or Doomby as well, have seen both play it, and they ban it away.
It's also a lot of things that can play easily towards topside at level 6, right? Nocturne for Doomby, TF for Doomby, like, these are things that he's been more than happy to take, and it shuts down that top lane potential for Doomby, especially if Crying can keep a hold of him in this mid lane.
Well, the Alistar, Ming's Alistar, you made mention of it during before the game started, or before pick ban started. Of course, you're going to be taking that one out. But the Rel there, best play that I remember this split was the not even 5-man, but a 4-man Magnet Storm that that Ming's Rel was able to set up and just completely turn the fight on its head. It's something to be feared. Yeah, and I mean, look, Crisp has been a big proponent for this as well, right? He had 13 games in the regular split. He's already played 4 games of it in playoffs, so it is a bit of a takeaway. But I certainly love the power here from RNG. It does give across that, like, Udyr, the Volibear already towards FPX. They will take the Udyr. I imagine they'll take the Eddie carry here as well. Potential to go towards something like the Tam Kench and the Jinx if you really want to, but certainly Tristana fitting that late game oriented AD carry that we're seeing more and more in the LPL. Yep, and it's something that, we've seen a lot of from LWX, and like we said there before we went to the pick ban, something that RNG are no strangers to flexing between Xiaohu, Cryan, and Gala. So just trying to make the draft as predictable as possible, if you will. But Wei hovering it off this one now. Love this one because the combination you get with the Rel is devastating. And
it's the combo you just talked about, right? You said the highlight moment for Ming, it was combo with Wei flashing in to get that 5-man sleep. Like, this combo is something RNG love to play around, especially in early skirmishes towards that dragon. They heavily prioritize this level 6 1-2 punch that the Rel and Lilia can bring. Pair that alongside Xiao, who's already gone towards the Gnar here. It's going to be super strong. It also means for FPX that you're not going to be able to solidify support here because you have to take something like the Lucian or that Jace in the top lane to have the advantage for Nuguri up there, and it means you're gifting across a bit of an easier time for Gala and Ming.
We have seen Jaces completely own a game if they're able to be run away with it. So there'll be a lot of pressure here on the side of RNG to make sure that, Xiaohu does not end up in that massive hole where Jace is just constantly jumping on and making him absolutely useless. But like you said, it's going to now hit the support pool, so we should see the likes of the Nautilus, the Gragas, all being banned away here by RNG. And FPX, they're going to focus on the AD carries.
Yeah, I mean, look, you've already got the things that can do pretty well. Into the Rel gone, the Gragas is gone, Thresh gone. Alistar taken off the board as well, so maybe something like the Rakan could be the next one for RNG, or they can look to start to prioritize that mid lane pool as well, because when you're looking at this for FPX, alright, we already have a counter pick for Nuguri, let's just leave that counter pick for Doomby, 5th pick here on red side. We can go for some of these more kooky picks like the Kleds, well, Nocturne already taken off the board, but even the sets that Doomby likes to bring out, so you're leaving a lot of flexibility here on FPX side, and honestly I think they're coming out pretty hot in this draft.
Yep, they honestly, it feels like both sides very much getting what they want. You can see the final Azir ban, they know how good Crying can be on that one and how it can just disengage from everything they want to do. You got something like a Jace and a Udyr, they're going to be want to try to jump on top of your face, get into your, kind of get into your personal space, if you will, as we see now where they want to take this final pick. I'd be curious to see them pick their mid laner this side round.
I really do think you just go for the support here. You know what you're up against here. There's no reason to try and prioritize it, but they are actually going to go towards it. So like Doomby, as we said, he's been hyper-prioritizing these control mages like the Victor and the Orianna. Orianna being the prime suspect, and then Victor as the fallback and the answer to the Orianna. But it means, look, I mean, you're going to get the Jinx here. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Azir honestly come in here for RNG as well, or the Victor, but this late game scaling control mage that can do really well at providing a bit of range to work in tandem with the Jinx. Great zone control as well for picks like the Udyr and these kind of things. So honestly, RNG have a pretty strong answer for what FPX are trying to do.
See what they want to go. You can see there the vote coming in so split, just eking out in front for FPX is head on over to @LPL English on Twitter if you want to be a part of that. And the final one here is going to be the Rakan. I actually quite like this. It gives you a good little bit of kind of surprise engage while also giving you a decent amount of disengage should you end up getting someone caught out.
It's a great matchup for the lane as well. At least in those early stages, Rakan can W on the ground and stop the Ferromancy, the crash down coming in from the Rel. Gives a lot of added help, plus just how maneuverable he is makes it very difficult for Rel to lock him down sometimes. And as you said, that combo with the shockwave and the engage coming through from Rakan could work beautifully for FPX. But when we look at the compositions here anyway, RNG definitely playing towards that late game team fight where you've got all these combos that can come in between like the Rel and the Lilia, the damage coming through from the Victor and the Jinx. They are primed to play these front to back style fights. When we look across at FPX though, certainly a team that wants to try and play a little bit heavier through that top side for the moment, try and get Nuguri up and rolling on this Jace, and then they can move their attention back down towards this bottom side where they can look towards the Udyr to start taking some of these early dragons.
We'll have to wait and see. Picks are locked and loaded. One of these teams will be going towards the lower bracket. The other one will be continuing on in their escapades. They might meet each other later on. We'll have to wait and see. But again, there's going to be a lot of tension, and if anything from the regular seasons to be to give us an indication of how this one's going, it's going to be a lot of team fights, going to be a lot of different movements here, and it's going to be all about that macro. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are finally going to be jumping onto the Rift for Game 1 of RNG versus FPX in this best of 5. No more gyos. Everyone's just going crazy. Look at the crowd. Super carry Doomby being shoved in the air. That is there every single time. Yeah. Someone always has that sign.
I'm pretty sure Wendy has the hat for it as well. The little
Wendy
headband.
has Wendy has every headband that she possibly needs to be able to interview every player, no matter who she was given. But we are finally on to the Rift. RNG versus FPX. Winner of this gets a huge advantage, you would imagine, as we come into Game 1. But looking at the compositions, looking at how kind of different runes coming out, Phase Rush, name of the game here was 5 of them on 2 people inside of RNG, 3 on FPX.
Yeah, for me, it definitely feels like FPX needs to get the ball rolling early here, or they just risk getting outscaled. When you look towards like Jinx's damage output in the late game, Victor as well, not even withstanding the fact that Wei is going to be able to churn out a bunch of damage as well, FPX have got to play through Nuguri, make sure that this Jace is getting super far ahead, and then they can turn their attention towards bot side. Certainly Tristana does a lot more off of one item than the Jinx, so I want to see if LWX can have these big impacts that we saw him come out with against JDG. Like, this guy was a hop, skipping and jumping around all these team fights and winning them hard for FPX, and this is the moment where we need to see him step up again.
See, it's going to be pretty tempered towards the early game, and I'm going to keep an eye now on Wei and Tien. And Tien, actually something we didn't even get to really talk about. When we talk about Wei having this kind of, focus towards top side, he will always start towards that bot side, path toward top lane to make sure they can either get the push, the gank. Whoa, okay, LWX goes in, forces the cleanse. Gala going to try and see if he can get something going for himself, just getting pushed underneath the turret. 2 more auto attacks should be able to do it. And LWX jumps straight back out, but cleanse, exhaust, burnt here, but she burned both summoners onto LWX.
Yeah, LWX tried to flash away from the crash down. Now, nice little play. Will get big advantages down on this bot side, but it does mean he is flashless for the moment. So could see some early antics as Ming tries to go in and trade against Chris, but Gala keeping his flash here is crucial because it means he can actually stay in lane here. If he had no flash, he'd have to be so wary of a flash engage coming through from Chris with the follow-up jump from LWX.
Gotta respect it. Good damage in the early game. Of course, when you take that Halo Blades, the level 2 is something you, or even just the level 1, you have to respect. Just kind of back to my point, you can see on the minimap the jungler is actually going to stop myself straight away. They stop the jump. LWX has no flash. Oh, Gala just about gets the timing wrong, but it doesn't matter. He gets himself first blood, trades it back. But what happened in the mid lane is Wei didn't go top, he went mid.
Yeah, and they just managed to pick off Doomby as well, so already RNG off to a great start. Kill in mid, a kill traded in bot side, but unfortunate for Gala, tries to make the play happen, but this is what I wanted, Penguin. This is the bloodthirstiness I needed from my LPL as well. We'll be able to push away from Doomby, but all said and done, Pickaxe already picked up for Gala versus just the longsword and that dagger across for LWX.
Such an explosive bot lane. We're actually going to see how this one ends. This is Doomby. He's no mana, no real health. He's going to die.
Yeah, I think this is a bit disrespectful from Doomby. The big thing here is that you already know, okay, Tien is on top scuttle. So chances are Wei is going to be either in mid or at least hovering towards that bottom side. And especially when you had Doomby sticking towards that bottom side of the lane, he just gets caught out there.
It's a little bit unfortunate, as we do see a slight advantage, and I say very slight advantage going over to RNG. In that bot lane, no summoners now for anyone across the board. You will have LWX having his flash up before Gala's, but now you got to be a little bit careful. This is, with a Nudir and a Lilia, this is kind of jungler territory right now towards this bot side.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Gala and Ming are being pushed in, so they're pretty happy. Wei, though, is starting to move down. Scuttlecrab is down on bot side, but may look for something in the bottom lane. It doesn't give opportunity, though, for Tien to move in here and steal away the Raptors.
Oh, I like this from Tien. He's kept himself outside of vision. Doomby going to try to protect this. Wei has no flash. Wei has no way of getting out of this, and Wei's going to take a hell of a lot of punishment. Tien picks up a kill, and this is exactly what we saw from the Rover 2 playoffs for Tien.
Well, it's very different in that FPX are playing more towards him, but I'm going to hold on to my point here as you got no flashes.
You got no flash, and it's a 5-man party in the bot side, but everyone's just going to back away. Nuguri going to use his TP. Xiaohu answers in kind, and they're going to just try and respect this one. Nuguri needs to be a little bit careful. It could get engaged upon, but everyone backs themselves away. Doomby, or sorry, not Doomby, Crying got themselves a little bit of free time towards that mid lane, but FPX going to be able to take the dragon.
Yeah, so Doomby will end up losing a little bit of CS toward that mid tower. They will get the dragon as a result, but RNG may be looking to contest here. I don't know about this one.
LWX jumps in very aggressively. There's the gravity storm going in, but the Lilia has jumped back on top of him. The command protects. Tien flashes over, now Crying going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's looking a bit more like TT as he sets himself back to the grey screen. They try to jump forward, and they're trying to cancel it off the Rel, but they've got the Jinx now jumped on by Nuguri, who's trying to just pick up everybody. The Gnar is going huge. It's Xiaohu versus Nuguri. It's the two top laners. It's a triple for Xiaohu as we're just going absolutely crazy right off the bat. Who's going to be coming out on top? It is going to be RNG, and this game is just blown us out of the water.
We're 6 minutes in, Penguin. We have 11 bloody kills in this game already. They are going nuts so far, but all said and done again, 3 kills coming in for Xiaohu, 2 kills going towards Wei. This top side of the map is looking damn strong for RNG, and especially when you look towards how far behind Xiaohu had been touched by Nuguri. This is big for him. He's really getting back into this, actually going to be beating out Nuguri when it comes towards the items and the gold he can come back to this lane with.
We'll say that is a massive wave pushing into the side of Nuguri, so he's going to be able to completely catch all of it. But let's have this one, because this is just LWX sees Crying, doesn't respect that there's no jungler, and just goes.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that Wei is there, and you can see there, great gravity field coming in from Crying, keeps LWX in place. Tien going very aggressive here, but look how split this is, right? You've got Ming and Xiao who are able to cut off everyone from different angles. Gala is coming back around a much safer angle too. So when LWX had already taken so much damage, Tien is flashless. This combo between Wei and Xiao is able to get so much work done. And unfortunately for FPX, when you've only got Chris standing alongside Nuguri, you're always going to win a top jungle versus a support top.
You can see these little tiny things. Why does Tien flash over the back of the pit? Because he knows there's no mid lane flash on Crying. He knows he can get that kind of advantage, and just the toing and throwing, the push, the pull.
I will say though, this is a very different style of FPX. Tien usually plays towards his lane states. We talked about, hey look, he likes to get in, he'll gank for Nuguri, he'll gank for bot lane. Instead though, we're actually seeing Tien go for these invades, and it's Doomby who's moving across to help him, Crisp who's moving across to help him. This isn't the style of jungling that I usually expect from FPX, and it's interesting to see that now against RNG, this is the style they're bringing out. They've gone, right, Wei is a big issue for us. He plays so well towards Xiao, he works so well with Ming. If we can set Wei behind, maybe that's the straw that broke the camel's back for RNG.
I do love once this lower third pops down after a while. Then if you look at the kills as well, despite all the action happening on bot side, it's the top side of the map that got all the gold. So it's just very, very ironic to me that it's like, even when we play bot, we play for top.
It's the way this goes, but as you can see here, like FPX, they've got full control of this jungle matchup. So in a 2v2 scenario like this, FPX should win it out.
Should. Don't get the blue buff steal though. Tien did not quite get that one off of the cooldown.
They are forcing RNG back though. You can see though, they've already moved like Crisp up here to try and contest for Rift Herald, but you are getting LWX still staying bot. So with the shove that FPX have in mid, they'll be able to rotate across, maybe catch out Wei in River if he's not careful.
This is where we kind of calm down a little bit. We got 2 minutes until that dragon spawns. You got the Rift Herald up, so might be something for the side of RNG to take themselves and give themselves a little bit of an advantage, but already you can see the supports roaming up. Everyone kind of here now. Tien, not a huge amount of mana. And they have to respect it. They have to back away the fact that the push
to move as RNG. Look at where LWX is. He's miles ahead of Gala to getting towards his top side, which is why FPX feel happy to move in.
You don't have Mega Gnar either for Xiaohu, so now you're just going to try and push towards this top side, but Nuguri is totally fine, and that's just going to be the Rift Herald gifted to FPX as they start to kind of push this mid-game into their priority.
And I love the way they're playing this as well. They're now cutting in towards top side of RNG's jungle, getting vision down, making sure that Cryan has to walk the long way around, and again, getting more and more control, forcing RNG back, and they're popping the Rift Herald to just gift all that gold into Doomby.
Get this Orianna online as quick as you can. See if they can go for anything more after it. They're probably just going to use it, and obviously use the next one to get down that that mid lane turret, so should have no problem whatsoever killing that one off.
They need to see the resets come in now, though. 50 seconds until Dragon. FPX have just picked up a bunch of gold. You can see 1,000 gold swing over in their favor. They want to try and reset and turn that in towards a second Dragon for themselves. Ming, though, looking for a greedy LWX.
He's looking for the greedy Tristana, will not get the Ferromancy. Has gotten it a couple of times, as we're going to see a hell of a lot of interruptions happening there. Yeah. And this one?
There's 2 ships passing in the night, and then there's the 2 airplanes that just happen at the bottom lane, both flying out of there. But again, I mean, Dragon is going to be up in 15 seconds. You don't have a reset coming in from a lot of players on FPX, so they may not really be in a position to contest for this. Cryan back in to get his own reset off there.
You will not have a TP on Nuguri, and you will not have a TP on Xiaohu for at least the next 30 or 40 seconds. So this is going to be a call here from the side of RNG to contest this Dragon. You can see trying to get the push now into that bot side. Swirl Seed lands on LWX, but not on multiple members, so you're just going to get a little bit of poke. Dragon down to about half HP.
You got to remember the combo we talked about with Wei and Ming. That's what RNG are looking for here. And in these short objective fights, that's where it becomes dangerous for FPX. But they do manage to steal away the Dragon and get out before RNG can engage.
The worst thing ever as well, Xiaohu went down to try and maybe go for a fight there. Didn't have his teleport, tried to contest. And you've just given over 2 plates over to Nuguri, who's going to try and snowball this matchup.
And that's the big thing here. They can start to, as you say, play through this Jace, get down top tower, look to out-rotate, and cause man advantages.
Yeah,
nice
the
flash.
quickness is there, the traps go down, the TP's coming in, they do get the lockdown on Tagala, who has no way of escaping, and that's going to be another kill there for Tien. Nuguri did TP in for extra little bit of insurance, and a little bit of extra poke there onto the Rel, but FPX starting to ramp up, starting to pick up the pace a little bit as they've got them dragon stacking.
And this is the speed of the game that RNG aren't really comfortable with. We talked about FPX, they're the fastest team in the LPL, they're the quick Phoenix, but unfortunately for them, RNG, they're not able to quite keep pace right now. When you start to play as RNG around this bottom side of the map so much, this is where we start to see issues in the RNG game plan.
But I do love this from RNG. It's the counterpunch we talked about RA, but for RNG, it's like, what else can we get? Yes, we lost bot lane, but we gained a teleport. Nice delay. I actually really like that with the Super Mega Det Rocket, just to try and delay the back, which means you get the push. These little small things are going to try and what RNG going to try to use to get back in.
Actually, like 1 to 2 turret plates here for Gala if he's able to just shove this out with rockets. Like that slow is really, really impactful. However, we'll have to see what the story is now, because for RNG, right, no real objectives are up. They need to start getting a bit of more vision control for themselves, make sure they're not getting caught by like Tien running into a lane, Doomby looking for these roams. But when we look towards like the Dragon in 3.5 minutes, it is a Cloud Dragon. Honestly, as RNG, when I'm looking to scale so much, I don't think I really fight for this. My Jinx is nowhere near where she needs to be. We're still waiting on the Leandri's Anguish for Cryan. Like, I'm not a big fan of trying to fight for these objectives right now.
Well, Luckily for them, there is no objective up right now. So they have a little bit of time. 3 minutes exactly till the Cloud. Probably about a minute and a half until that second Rift Herald spawns. But Wei snuck himself in. Nuguri is going to be hit with the Swirl Seed and the Lilting Lullaby. They go in with the Mega Gnar. Nicely comboed in. He can go nowhere. And that is a shutdown going over to Xiaohu. 4-0-1 in this top side.
And this is the RNG that we expect. Wei and Xiaohu working together. Now, it is missing a component because Ming has been held to this bot side with Gala, but they have to be careful for themselves here. As they can see, Crisp starting to make moves. You had Doomby hovering towards bot side along with Tien, but will manage to keep themselves safe, but it should net LWX a lot of time in this bot lane turret.
Yeah, honestly, again, it's the push, the pull. As we can say that crying, forces Flash away from the Shockwave. That is a very fast man bear. The Chaos Storm does go down and does stop anything else from happening. They do gain the summoners out of crying, but they lose the bot turret. They should gain the top as a trade, and now we're starting to see the tit for tat.
Yeah, the big thing here, though, is, okay, yes, you're getting that gold into Xiaohu, can work well with this, but honestly, you're still not in the best of matchups for Xiaohu, and Nuguri's got a lot of turret plates for himself as well. So, gold-wise, I mean, it's Mythic for Mythic right now. I still give the matchup favor to Nuguri. Bot lane, though, LWX is going to be massive. Like, Kraken Slayer already completed, very quickly working up towards a second item. Like, I honestly think that for FPX, you're pretty happy with that trade.
Both sides kind of just leaning towards, like you said, their win conditions. As we can see now, towards this top side, this Rift Herald will be spawning in the next minute or so. And this is where both teams want to try and fight it, but LWX is here. You do not have a TP on Crying. Very important to notice that.
Yeah, that's the big thing here. RNG actually can't contest this push if FPX miss, because you can see they've got Doomby and LWX pushing in mid. They can happily roam topside, cut off any sort of support from Xiaohu. So at this stage, Xiaohu, you just got to give this turret.
I think you just got to give it up. Yes, you're a Mega Gnar in a bit, and yes, you have got your Stride Breaker, but you do not have the survivability against 4 or potentially 5 from the side of FPX. You give that one up. A minute until the Dragon has spawned. You will have majority of summoners. As I say that, they jump straight in onto LWX, who has cleansed, so they do not have that flash now for Wei for this ensuing team fight.
Yeah, they will force LWX back, but I think they're a little bit early on us. I mean, look, if you're willing to try and look for this Dragon, that combo is kind of your big, your game-breaking moment where you can actually try and swing this game in your favor. But with that flash down, with this ultimate from the Lilia down as well, they won't be able to contest this. Maybe you can try and trade it for Rift Herald and make these towers disappear for RNG, but for FPX, you're okay here.
For FPX right now, you're fine with a trade. You give it over the Rift Herald, you gain yourself your 3rd Drake. That will put you onto Soul Point. So wait to see now where they want to try and push this momentum. And that's what it's all been. It's like, you know, even looking at it, it's only 1,000 gold to FPX. They are the more proactive team, it does feel, but RNG still getting that extra kill, still getting themselves an objective here with the Rift Herald. They're still trying to make this work for them.
Yeah, the difference here is if FPX can crack this mid lane turret, because that's when you can really see Nuguri open up the match and punish this this matchup for himself, as well as Gala.
No flash. Oh, that was really nicely done there by Chris. As the TP gets stopped as well. They kill the turret before they can get any more reinforcements. And now Ming getting jumped on. Nuguri says, to the skies and the gray screen. Shadow Realm for you, as it is going to be a double kill for Doomby. And LWX, he's fine to jump in on this. He knows there's nobody coming to defend this.
And if you listen, you can hear that early game engine is revving for FPX right now. Xiaohu still needs to be safe. Tien is down here. Crisp is on the way.
They are going to have 3 people here. He does get the hop, the skip, but can he get the jump away? They flash forward. He's going to try and get Mega, but he is shut down where he stands. There's the Mega Det Rocket trying to get something off the back end of it, but it did not hit Tien straight away. LWX still does not have his summoners. He's going to be able to hop out just to keep himself alive. And now out of nowhere, 4,000 gold in favor of FPX, and they are only 1 dragon away from Soul.
And look at your mini-map. Here's a lane I prepped earlier, says FPX, as Nuguri is pushing in this top side. It makes it so difficult as RNG. And although we are talking about how strong RNG can be from behind at 15 minutes, it's because the tempo is not crazy. It's not this crazy action-packed, fast-paced game. That's actually where RNG has struggled. Now you can see that on your screen is FPX. They've taken that dial, ramped to 11, and RNG are like, hang on a bloody second, lads. Can we get a breather? Can we try and fix something on the map here?
That was 2 teleports as well. That was Doomby's and Xiaohu's as they tried to both get it in to get a numbers advantage. And now this is where where we want to see what RNG can do. This is where we want to see how can they kind of draw back this game and get them towards that late game.
Well, let's do a quick check-in, right, on items, just kind of give people an idea of where we're at. Because we're looking at FPX, 3 dragons, 3 minutes until that next dragon spawns, and you're looking at already Kraken and Phantom Dancer coming in for LWX. You should have that tier fully upgraded into the Seraphs by the time Doomby needs to fight. Like, these are big item breakpoints, and specifically for the Tristana and also for Doomby, when you become terrified. And that's not even adding to the fact that Nuguri will have a second lethality item completed for himself at that stage as well.
Gala definitely feeling the hurt right now on this no escape, and oh, Ming didn't quite get the jump over the wall, uses the Magnet Storm and just gains nothing from it.
Yeah, I mean, I like what RNG are doing though, right? Because the only way I see them bringing that back is through Ming and is through Wei. Like, you need to get this big multi-man CC chain onto Nuguri, onto Doomby, and hope you can turn the fight from there. If that doesn't happen, it feels like even if you catch, say, Nuguri, there's enough damage potential from Doomby and from LWX to carry these team fights.
That's going to be the 4th turret of the game there for FPX going down in that bot side. So they've created quite a long lane there as they now catapult themselves to a 5,000 gold lead. 2 minutes until the dragon spawns, so shouldn't see many shenanigans. And even though FPX have full kind of control over here, they can't really take anything else apart from those extra little bit of turrets. I like that from Wei. Recognize that he probably wasn't going to get the most ideal push in here. Gets the full charge, gets a little bit of chip damage down.
The surprise Rift Herald is the deadliest in this case.
Surprise
it's
attack.
Plonk it down behind and hope it can get a bit of damage done, but you can see, like, that's desperation. I mean, RNG would have loved to be able to actually use that to crack a turret rather than just getting a bit of damage on mid, which honestly I don't see them being able to approach anytime soon. So now FPX moving in, they're getting vision control. They're aware that Baron is spawning in 20 seconds and they want to make sure they've got full control of this top side, and also looking to see if they can move across towards that dragon in 1:30.
See already Tien just commanding ownership around this, you know, jungle quadrant. Anywhere he goes, you have to respect the flash bear slap. You cannot let this Udyr just run you down, and he's just so fast. So many ways of getting on top of you, even without his flash.
Yeah, I mean, for this Udyr, you really need stuff like the rapid fire cannon coming in from Gala, and he's just shy of being able to pick it up. If you have that, you can try and poke out this Udyr before he actually is able to get in on top of you. Same when it comes towards the likes of Crisp. Like, you can start to play the range game for RNG, but it's so damn hard right now. Like, Crisp having that Shirley's battle song completed, the chem tank as well for Tien. Like, they are very speedy boys, and they are going to run you down the second you show as RNG.
This is where you kind of figure out what RNG's plan is. They have 40 seconds until this Cloud Soul does spawn. Not the most impactful in the world, but Shockwave up to Wei. Flash from Wei means he can't even flash over to the pit. That pretty much secures it. There's no way he can get back out on time, and RNG, they're just going to give this up. Great move there from Doomby.
He will be about 8 seconds late to this play, so maybe RNG can, but you can see FPX, they want to find the 4 versus 5, and that damage that's coming from Doomby and Nuguri has been amped up a lot here.
We'll probably have the Shockwave up pretty soon as well. You can see already halfway through the cooldown, and there's just, honestly, you burn this down, there's nothing you can do if you're RNG, and right now they're just kind of backing themselves away. Now they're trying to go and contest into the pit.
As well, don't forget, Wei doesn't have that flash, so you're heavy reliant on Ming to make a play. Steal!
Hey, there it is, and the crowd loves it. There's what you want. There's nothing you can do there from Tien. You just do not have enough smite damage to be able to secure that one. I feel like that's a little bit of a misplay from FPX. You should know that one's coming.
Yeah, for your water drinking game at home, that's 2 shots for everyone in the audience, because of course
2 shots of Evian.
It is. I mean, every time we see Jinx, this happens. That unlimited damage potential towards monsters, it's a wee bit silly, and you're seeing the results. I mean, who needs to contest Dragon when you can just steal it while you're taking mid tower?
If you do follow
Grabs was the big one for me.
Yeah.
He is not happy with it.
If you're not happy with it. But even more so, Kelsey Moser, I believe, is the one. I do. It might have been League of Emily, but, you know, a trend of LPL teams taking objectives without smite, and I think that just kind of adds to the trend as such. As we can see now, Tien running forward, he's too fast, he's too furious as he jumps in. Shockwave going to land down onto Cryin, who has to flash away, but the flash bear slap is just enough. Now it's going to be another 3v3. You have got the lilting lullaby coming down. Gala's got enough damage, and that's going to be Wei picking up that kill, but he jumps straight back down onto Doomby, and RNG are right back in it, but Nuguri split pushing.
Yeah, they need to start these resets. They'd love to go for Baron, but this would net Nuguri this bottom lane turret. Maybe just recalling with someone would be needed here by RNG, but they're saying, hey, look, we're going to call the bluff. Nuguri TPing in.
He's TPing in. There's a couple of low health bars here, specifically on Wei. You kill Wei, you kill this fight. LWX full mana, full health bar, and enough of a shock blast, an accelerated shock blast is enough to get everyone off it.
You need to look at Ming. If Ming could get this engage off with the flash, with this Magnet Storm, that could work. But it's not coming to fruition right now. They are going to back away. So all in all, you get that trade coming in with the kills for RNG, but Nuguri getting the bottom tower. And this is what we talked about from the regular split. When it came towards the team fighting, when it came towards finding picks in the mid game, that's where RNG shone. And FPX need to try and keep the ball rolling. If they can get some of these towers down, if they can keep Nuguri having this impact in the side lane, that's where they'll be strong. But you can see in this replay, Tien doesn't care about zone control anymore. He is so damn fast at this stage and able to chase down Crying. The cavalry does arrive and Gala's able to get some kills back, which is crucial for this Jinx, but they need to keep this up as RNG. A lot invested to make this play work though.
Yeah, and I feel like that was, again, another little tiny mistake. An inch that turns into a mile. Doomby kind of rotates forward. Crying, though, sees a bear man, says hello, shouts out his laser, and backs away. But again, small little mistakes. Doomby walks 2 steps forward, has to flash, still gets caught, still dies. Now does not have his flash available to him for the next fight.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just giggling at the thought of, like, that is a sentence that exists. Man Bear Pig gets laser shot at him, has to back away.
Yeah.
Put it in the newspapers. But either way, I think here, again, we're looking at like 2 minutes until the next dragon. Still a little bit of time for RNG. All they have to worry about here is that dragon. They have great vision control over it. They're getting the opportunity to start to get these items in towards Jinx. 2 items now complete on towards Crying as well. We already know Xiao Hu is a monster on this top side with 5 kills in his name as well. So at least for RNG, buying time starting to work out. But for FPX, side lanes is their best friend. Let's just have Nuguri complete this side lane push. He can poke so well against Xiao Hu, Crying, whoever's underneath these turrets, and you can start to use the fact you've got all these inner turrets down to get vision control to allow that to take place.
Yeah, I've got 3 items now onto LWX. You can see Doomby now pushing in his minute and a half now until that Cloud Soul does spawn again. You should have majority of summoners available for the fight for the side of RNG. You will still be missing out on a flash or 2 for FPX, but see what they want to go for. Nuguri gets himself a nice cheeky blue steel. That feels very, very nice when you've got an Orianna and a Jace in the same comp. They don't have to have any worries about mana, and they can keep spamming the abilities.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm kind of talking about, like, hey, look, let's try and have these individual moments where Nuguri can try and use that. My big worry here for FPX, though, is when these objectives are up, if they group up. Because if you get the Super Mega Death Rocket off of a Ming engage alongside that, that ultimate coming through from Crying from Wei, that spells disaster for FPX. And with RNG having control of River, it makes it very tough for FPX to take it back.
Ella takes a chunk. We'll have the honey fruit, or as Hysterics likes to call the river melon. Not quite sure why he calls it that, but he does. As we can see Xiao Hu jumping in on top of Crisp, gets the stun down. Can they get the damage on top of him? He flashes away. Command to protect is enough to keep him alive. And now you've used a lot of your engage there from Xiao Hu on an unsuccessful pick.
It could have worked out, though. If they got Crisp, that's so much off the board. Taking the flash off of Xiao Hu is definitely less impactful, though, than the flash gone from Crisp. Because look at FPX's lineup, right? The big engage tool is Crisp. Yes, you can have Tien run in, but he's got to get past the front line, whereas Crisp could have bypassed it.
They're happy to take this trade. RNG going to go for the Baron potentially off of the trade for the Dragon. You can see they're trying to see if they show an LWX to it. But they don't. They back themselves away, and he's kind of hovering between the two. They don't know exactly where LWX is right now.
Keep your eyes on Ming. That's who they're trying to see if they can maneuver him into the right spot. But unfortunately, FPX just called the bluff, and that will be the soul going across. RNG, I get it. Like, look, at the end of the day, this Cloud Soul doesn't do a huge amount for the champions in FPX. So we'll see if we can use it to bait Baron, but unfortunately, not able to find that fight.
Finally getting the Zhonya's here for Wei, so a little bit harder to kill. Almost got Gala onto that 3-item Jinx, which again is an absolute monster when you have to go with it. Did go for the Phantom Dancer rather than the Rapid Fire Cannon, so prioritizing the extra little bit of movement speed, of course, and just trying to make sure that it's trying to be as slippery as possible. We actually see the Force of Nature here for Xiao Hu, so respecting the damage that can come out from this Orianna.
This is where it gets a little bit dangerous, though, because as you can see, FPX, they're trying to use the waves towards their advantage. Push in, allow them the opportunity to get vision topside, because if you end up meeting RNG in this jungle, this is perfect for like Xiaohu with that ultimate, crying and all that zone control he has. But FPX, they're just saying, hey, look, we can tank this for days with Tien. Let's just go for it.
Yeah, they are pushing in and forward of it. Ming does take a chunk of his health bar from accelerated
RNG
shot.
have no idea.
RNG did not go for it. They actually didn't see anybody there just until the last second. Nice little block there from Crisp, and it's gone. Goodbye, Baron. That goes straight over to FPX. Just honestly, great play, great control of the area, and great control of the vision.
Yeah, and they just pull it out of anywhere. Like, it's just like FPX go, right, RNG, you want to try and move in towards this jungle. You want to try and keep it safe. Well, we'll pretend that we're going to play off these lanes in mid. Instead, we'll just go towards the Baron. Now, RNG are in a really dire situation. Nuguri can poke really well underneath these towers. Although, that being said, LWX.
Shockwave! Oh, they only had the gunner forward. On top of that, LWX will have to back away. The Shockwave did find out crying. They had to back themselves away, though. They used it as a disengage rather than an engage. And everybody just kind of calms down. They got themselves tier 2. They're going to be able to deal a little bit of extra damage into tier 3. And now this game resets again.
It's wasted time from FPX, though. Because they didn't reset and try to just quickly meet that mid wave, now that that push is gone, it's like, okay, well, we've just wasted 30 seconds. Now we got to reset as well. 30 seconds coming back out onto the map. And RNG are in a position to shove out these waves. So FPX not making the best of use out of this Baron. We'll have to see if they can maybe make a pick here.
Whoa, Tien, violent speed and momentum, forcing the flash out of Gala, but now Ming is dead. You have a Baron buff and you have no solid engage. You're going to flash forward on top of the Jinx, and she's dead too. Double kill for Tien. This game could be over.
And that is a massive mistake from Gala and Ming. Overextending in the mid lane, no vision, and with how quickly FPX can chase them down. That's it.
That's it.
FPX
Game over.
win.
Game over here in game 1. FPX find 1, 2, 3 quick kills. With the Baron buff still on them for a minute 20, they're going to be able to keep themselves pushing in on top of these Nexus turrets. They're going to try and pick off a couple of extra kills to pad those KDAs. Wei does get the lilting lullaby onto 2, but it is all for naught. FPX take game 1 in explosive fashion.
Beautiful stuff from FPX, coming out of the gates absolutely swinging. This was that early game engine that we talked about, and although it looked very, very different in game number 1, FPX still found that early lead, and this time they're able to end the game through it.
It is such a great kind of setup for FPX. You got the lead, and not only that, but you pushed through it and made the picks you needed to happen. They honestly, once they got that Baron, it became so difficult for anyone from RNG to really just walk up, and you can see there, once they're separated, they're easy pickings for someone as fast as the Udyr just to catch.
Yeah, and we talked about it as well. Like, the difference that's been there for FPX is through that early game momentum that they get. Those early game skirmishes have been so damn clean, and they powered through for RNG. We looked at that early stage where Tien was invading a lot, having the support of Doomby to help him out, even getting LWX invading off that bot side pressure they had as well. This was a very different style of FPX, but certainly one that was still looking for these picks, trying to move through these early game skirmishes. And when we got towards that mid game, where they're sitting 3, 4, 5,000 gold up and able to play through Nuguri in a side lane, it makes all the world of difference against RNG.
And this, like, I look at this composition here from RNG. This looks exactly like what they would want. You get the Gnar, you get the Rel, you get the Lilia. Like, fair enough, you could maybe swap out, the Victor and the Jinx, but like, in terms of what I would feel like they would be prioritizing, this feels like it is it.
Yeah, the biggest problem that I see for RNG with this composition is because you've got Gala on this Jinx on the bottom side of the map, it locks Ming to this bottom side. And when we just highlighted like how strong Ming is and how good his roams have been towards Xiaohu in the top lane, having Ming stuck to the bot side of the map is not ideal in my head as the way I want to see RNG play. And then when I look towards Xiaohu as well, they tried to call this bluff. They were like, look, if we take Gnar on this first rotation of picks, maybe we can get Nuguri to end up leaving his pick to later on. We can ban the Jace, we can ban things like the Aurelia that Nuguri's brought out before, and then we can actually get Xiaohu in a good matchup. But FPX were like, no, we know this top lane is where it's at. We know what we need to do here, and correctly predicting what RNG were going to do.
Again, the solo lanes coming in here strong for FPX. Doomby, like we said, it's not about the 1v1. It's about the side lane pressure he can be. He was down bot side. There was a 5-man gang towards FPX. He went back top side to try and catch out Xiaohu. He goes towards all these different fights, and that is what has been FPX's bread and butter in their successful runs. And again, it's starting to feel like FPX are a full team. It starts to feel like the whole picture is finally up on the wall for us to enjoy, and for RNG, they're going to have to try and find a way of breaking this explosiveness.
I think we're getting a very different picture of RNG this game, though. Because, okay, yes, they're kind of playing a little bit more down towards bot side, I get that. But honestly, I think that this showed that they really need Wei to have a good game.
Yep.
Because if Tien's going to get in and just break him up, he doesn't get to play towards Xiaohu in the top lane like he wants to. We saw one gank up towards there, and the whole breadbasket just tops over for RNG. So I think certainly for this next game, we need to see a little bit more for Wei.
Well, we'll see if RNG are able to make anything happen for Wei in this next game. We're going to throw it to a quick break, but when we return, picks and bans for Game 2.
Thousands of drums sound as the strongest four assemble. FPX have overcome all odds in one fell swoop. With the momentum behind them, they break through 1,000 armies. Rejoice, for your king has returned.
Killer instinct hit. They're looking for the assassination, but it's LWX that goes down in the end. Fear across the whole team. Maybe this is it for FPX. As Doing B still going strong, gets himself to triple.
RNG's heroic re-emergence heralds an earth-shattering impact upon the world. With divine skill, they turn the tide of any battle, establishing themselves as the king among kings.
We're doing this again. It's oh my god! Everyone goes into the wall, drop down. RNG!
A bitter and decisive match was fought that summer. Before one even realizes, times change. FPX desires to perpetually maintain their momentum.
There you go! The CC across the team! FPX blown asunder, but it's LWX! He's turned everything on his head! How has he done that? I think it's LWX firing away on the sidelines, and it looks like FPX have done it! JDG scattered to the wind.
RNG seeks to take revenge and advance their standings.
It's a 1 for none, but there's the culling. Is it enough? Is the angle quite there? The Dominus is not enough to keep you alive, and Xiaohu is really starting to now 3v4 in favor of RNG, and you can see right now Gala perfectly positioned to try and keep himself safe.
The calm before the storm signifies the coming of war.
Navigate my mind, I make noises. I don't ask, yeah, I make announcements. When I talk, people listen, but I'm grounded. They got their way, I got my way. Not like them, don't speed on the highway. I go slow, yeah, talk to toe, bruh. And if you didn't know, then now you know, yeah. Take off like a shooting star higher. Watch close, cause I'm building my empire. Big dreams help the youth we inspire. Taking over, so roll up. Bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets, but I'm bigger on the scene. Yeah, bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets, but I'm bigger on the scene. Yeah, bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets, but I'm bigger on the scene. Yeah, bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets, but I'm bigger on the scene. Yeah, small change, I got real money, but don't talk money. Talk is a scam, buddy. We on set, boy, we in charge here. Big things rock like a chandelier. Yeah, top girls, yeah, we do the money dance, but not for you, not the boys, not a chance. Top girls rise up, get a stance. Ding ding, yeah, we're bringing the alarm. Take off like a shooting star higher. Watch close, cause I'm building my empire. Big dreams help the youth we inspire. Taking over, so roll up. take off like a shooting star higher. Watch close cause I'm building my empire. Big dreams help the youth we inspire. Taking over so roll up. Bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets but I'm bigger on the scene. Bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets but I'm bigger on the scene. Bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets but I'm bigger on the scene. Bigger than me, you're not bigger than me. Big up on the streets but I'm bigger on the scene. Want a little bit of my love, yeah, a little bit of this love that's special. Oh yeah. Want a little bit of my heart, boy, then you better know I'm special. Oh yeah. What's all this talking, chit chat? Your boy, you just talk, yeah. You my warning, TikTok. Your boy is a warning. 'Cause you know I'm special, so don't waste my time. Told you, boy, I'm special. A little romance, 'cause I'm old school, yes I am a boy. Let's dance till the sun comes up, then dance till the sun goes down. I fall asleep, then we're waking up, go again until the morning. What's all this talking, chit chat? Your boy, you just talk, yeah. You may warning, TikTok. Your boy is a warning. Jump up if you want my love, boy. Jump up if you want my heart. Jump up, jump and show. You show me what love's about. Jump up if you want my love. 'Cause I'm so special. Yeah, I'm so special. Yeah, I'm so special. Yeah, I'm so special. Yeah. La 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 la. Yeah. So you want all of my love? Yeah, you want all of my love. So you want all of my love? Yeah, you want all of my love. So you want all of my love? Yeah, you want all of my love. So you want all of my love? Yeah, you want all of my love, 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 my love. Jump up if you want my love, boy. Jump up if you want my love.
我觉得影响 RNG 最关键的地方的话，可能就是我们3条线上的对线的情况吧。就是我们如果对线打得比他们好的话，我们肯定会赢得很简单。然后如果对线被压制的话，那肯定就会比赛可能就是他们占据主动权。对小明的话，可能就是希望我们这次季后赛能报常规赛的一箭之仇吧。
Certainly got his revenge here in Game 1. I'm Penguin, joined again by Dagda. We're coming off of a win there for FPX, and it all came off of the violent speed and momentum of Tien just running around the map, and that man deserves the MVP for Game 1.
100%. And we talked about it, a very different style of jungle, I'll say, coming through from Tien, where he was looking to invade on the bottom side of the map and have the lanes placed towards him rather than him playing towards the lanes. And gotta say, pretty good look.
Yeah,
it
honestly,
worked really well.
It worked fantastically well, and you can see there in a couple of clips that are coming up, it's just going to be basically him running at people at the speed of sound and just making himself just such a nuisance that either forces summoners, forces ultimates, forces whatever in order to facilitate the rest of his laners.
This playoffs has been insane for Tien. I mean, you can see it there in the MVP count. 6 of them total in the split. 4 of them have been in playoffs so far. Like, this guy has been absolutely astronomically better than we saw him in Spring Split, and I think he deserves rightfully these MVPs, because you can see here, like, Doomby playing towards Tien, kind of kicking the leg out from under RNG by taking Wei out of the equation, and he did have such a massive performance when it came towards, as you said, getting in towards these laners as well, making sure he could burn the summoner spells, setting up for these picks and these skirmishes that FPX like to play around, and RNG just did not have an answer for this entire game.
No, they really did have no way of dealing
with the man bear pig just running at them at full strength. And you can see here, Gala not having his flash, and he was just so quick to the side. He's like, I know you have no flash. Victor, Jinx, hell, even Nar, it's like, you can't get away from me. And that was just, it was that kind of quick thinking that was able to just facilitate so much for FPX this game.
Yeah, I think coming into this, looking at the draft, I think I want to see a couple of different things from RNG here. I think when we look towards that Twisted Fate pick, or ban even, sorry, I think they need to remove that and actually ban the Jinx themselves, especially since they are opting in towards blue side here. I think the Jinx meta doesn't quite work for RNG because they don't want to play around bot side, whereas Jinx is someone that very much takes resources by default into that bottom lane. And I think as well, coming into it, you got to try and go for these more funky picks. Like the way that they've got advantages in their blue side draft has been through the flexibility of Xiaohu, right? We've seen the Tristana go top lane, we've seen the Lucians, we've seen Syndra's always works.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly, go towards that top side. I think that's the problem here, is that we saw a very easy to know what's happening draft coming through from RNG. There's none of this flexibility. There was none of this strangeness to the draft. It was very stock standard. And I think coming into game number 2 now, this is where we might see the kookiness come out from RNG, but it can also be answered from the strangeness coming through from FPX.
Yeah, it's kind of who's crazier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like one of like a crazy off, I suppose. The guy eating a sword or the guy, like juggling with 7 knives or something like that. It's like both are pretty off their rockers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I think it'll make things a little bit easier for RNG. I think certainly taking the Tristana over the Jinx or banning the Jinx, as we talked about, just opens them up so much more. I don't like when Ming is held down to this bottom lane with the Gala because it just doesn't quite work the same way. And you can see here, although Xiaohu got those early kills, he couldn't do anything because of the matchup. And that's when you really start to see the cracks in RNG's game plan.
Yeah, honestly, I think that was, like you said, a fully exposed kind of setup, and it's actually very different to what we've seen, previous teams expose RNG for when they try to focus towards that bot side, and then RNG just kind of fall apart. This time around, they were able to focus top side. They were able to get those couple of early kills onto Xiao. He was 4-0-1 at one stage, and just weren't able to make it stick, and it was just quick thinking from FPX, quick, little small movements, be a TN flashing forward, a Doomby shockwave to he doesn't kill Wei. It's right at the back of that bar, or the Dragon Page. Like, he doesn't kill Wei, but he puts Wei to a point where it's like, right, you have to reset. You can't take this fight anymore. And those little things do add up in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where a lot of the pressure is coming in. But also, I like the way FPX targeted TN. It's a strategy that we haven't actually seen a huge amount against RNG. It's very much been like, hey, maybe we can punish Xiaohu in the top lane, or at least stop the snowball from RNG in that top side. Or maybe we go bot side and we try and play through the weak side of RNG. But it's never been a case of, oh, let's just invade Wei. Because Wei's been so smart in his pathing and trying to, the way he positions on the map to make sure that he can keep Xiaohu safe. But if you just kick the leg out from under Wei, well then Xiaohu doesn't have that support. Ming is already, we said, stuck to that bottom lane, and suddenly it's a very different plan for RNG.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and figure out where they want to take this draft. Like you said, a couple of different change-ups maybe not as bog standard here. But then you're kind of, you're leading into FPX territory a little bit there. They love the wild and weird, and they definitely kind of feel like a little bit more home when they're trying to just look for those, like, as you say, mechanical outplays within the lanes.
Yeah, and I think